All right, everybody. I know y'all miss me. I miss you guys too. It's been a busy 2 weeks. My producer was out of town, and then a week after, I had mandatory overtime, and then my daughters, they first day of school. School started back for all the parents out there. Well, in Texas, I don't know. Most I know people up there they start after Labor Day or whatever. But we start early down here, especially like if you in the charter school. My kids are in the charter school, so they started last week. And they get out in May. My kids, their school is from Monday through Thursday. Fridays they are out. They have no Fridays. I wish I had no Fridays. So that's my girls' school. They so lucky. I wish I had that. And then let Davis tell you they always out of school. My kids be out of school for like I've never heard of a fall break. They have a fall break, winter break, spring break, all these breaks. So so yeah, they stay out of school, but if you in Texas or in Dallas or whatever, I know y'all are welcoming y'all kids back to school. We broke. Parents are officially broke. We broke. Spending all that money to get the kids ready for school and paying bills at the same time. If you don't have no kids, be mindful because they are very expensive. My daughters, I had to get their hair braided and stuff like this. So it was a lot of this going around. Um, so it's been very um tensions in the air between AEW fandoms for the past few weeks. It's been tension. It's been a civil war going on the timeline between us, AEW fandom. Um, it's crazy. The what I have been seeing as far as like Dynamite and Collision, um, I'm not gonna say that it's been bad, but the energy has changed a lot. But it's still fun. It's not bad. It's weird within us. I don't know how we lost the plot into being the fun side, but we've been the confronting side. I've just been in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been in. It's just been a lot going on. So, All In is coming up in like 2 weeks. They will be in London at the Wembley Stadium or whatever. And I'm pretty certain the pay per view is going to deliver. It's been very weird. Lucha Brothers is going to WWE. Um, that was sad news for a lot of us because I don't want to see them leave. But at the same time, they have accomplished a lot in AEW. They've been the tag champions, they've been ROH champions, they've been the trios champions. Ray Phoenix has the first Mexican Triple Crown at AEW. So they have accomplished a lot. And I feel like they just want to add another, just add another belt to their resume because, again, they just building up their legacy and continuing their legacy in Lucha Libre and as far as being household names. So I'm definitely rooting for them. When they do go to WWE, it has been reported today that Penta was out there in Orlando. So it's gonna be sad to see them go, but I'm gonna always support them. So of course I would catch them at a pay-per-view and stuff like that. Don't put them in NXT. Please put them straight to the main card. They deserve to be at the main card, which I feel like they're gonna put them right in the main card. It makes sense. But that was very sad for me. They also reported that Ricky Starks going to WWE. I mean, who did not see that coming? Everybody saw that coming. Yay. Ooh. And then also Daniel Garcia has not renewed his contract as of yet. It's interest on both sides of WWE, and of course AEW wants him to stay. So we'll see where it goes. I mean, this is part of wrestling. It's not a monopoly. As you can tell, WWE gets some of our guys. AEW, we get some of WWE guys. So you know what I'm saying? So it helps on both parties. WWE might help Penta get his because Penta is an actor. Whether y'all know it or not, he is an actor. El Santo. He is an actor. So maybe so. But either way, like I always said, it ain't more so about the money with them. It's probably more of just another thing to put. Do we think Ricky would have stayed with AEW had they not kept him on TV before? No, his intention probably it was always going to be with WWE. That was always his intention. I've always admired like his talking, but as far as like in ring, he wrestles like a WWE wrestler. He didn't really fit in with an AEW wrestling style, in my opinion. So it's a good move on their part. I mean, AEW not really losing. You can't, say that they lost somebody because, I mean, he didn't obviously want to be there anyway. So why keep somebody that don't want to be there? So that's where he wants to be at anyway. I mean, it's kind of been evident. So it wasn't nothing that AEW could do to change his mind to stay. Because, again, he's a Cody boy, no shade. So he was going to go eventually. So the only person that they didn't really have an interest in is MJF, obviously. But yeah, so I mean, it's rumors that AEW is going to get Ricochet. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a good thing. That's why I don't get disappointed or nothing when people leave or join another company. This is what we wanted. Like, it makes it interesting. Like, it's like a draft. Like, okay, who we gonna get from over there? Who they gonna get from over there? I just think it's funny that they got a partnership with TNA, but they're not really interested in nobody over there like that. They like AEW built the real stars. We can do something with them though. So that's no shade. Okay. So enough about that. That's all I want to get out because again, this show is going to be strictly on the Olympics. We know the Olympics ended yesterday with the ceremony, and I really want to talk about it in regards to Black Americans and the Black athletes over time and how it correlates to 2024. But before we get into that, I want to put up this dumb idea that somebody had on Twitter today. Okay, so Wrestling News said pro wrestling should be an Olympic sport. IWC can be very idiotic. I ain't gonna say sometimes, it's all the time. Because, like I said on TikTok, pro wrestling is entertainment in America. We know in 2028, United States hosts the Olympics in Los Angeles. And they have added lacrosse, flag football, softball, baseball. I'm missing another sport. I'm missing a sport. But they officially dropped breakdance. I blame that Australian lady. It's all her fault. Oh, yeah, it's squash. Yeah, so lacrosse, squash, softball, baseball, flag football, men and women's are added for the 2028 Olympics, and they have dropped boxing and also breakdance. The men's breakdance did really, really good. It was the women because that girl from Australia, I don't know what she was doing. It was, I don't know. They probably saw that and was just like, you know what? No, we're not doing that no more. Look like we're giving the gold medals to Mexico and Japan. Yeah, it was terrible. It was definitely play that clip, brother. Like
brother. What's that?
It was awful. But yeah, so anyways, he said they was all under that thread talking about, yeah, it should be a sport. It should be a sport. First of all, wrestling is already a sport, okay? It's already a sport. Like, we won gold in it. Women's and the men's. Like, it was different different parts of the wrestling that won the gold, but they won gold. And for two, like it was people under there talking about some because pro wrestling like that one dude was in my mentions saying America started pro wrestling. And I'm just like, first of all, no, they did not. No, they didn't. They didn't start pro wrestling. It's not American. And then I made a point because I'm just like, if they was to add pro wrestling into Olympics, that would be the time where people will see in real time how much America does not value pro wrestling at all, as far as like the media and just everything else. Like pro wrestling means something to wrestling fans only, not casuals. And I put examples on TikTok, but I bring it to here because WWE pay-per-views are on Peacock. The Olympics ended, and then everybody know that WWE got that pay-per-view coming up. And then you see what Peacock tweeted. Well, what do I do now that the Olympics is gone? And they haven't, mind you, they have not promoted that WWE pay-per-view all through that Olympics. They have not promoted not one time. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, I'm a pro wrestling fan, but you have to be in tune with reality. The reality of the fact is pro wrestling matters to just wrestling fans. It will not capture no type of casuals. That's what WWE been trying to do for the past 10 years, and it hasn't happened. Okay? And I said, it died with John Cena. Okay? And it's not happening again. I don't care, like, I don't care if they invite them on red carpets. I don't care how many times they try to put them on mainstream TV or media or invite rappers and stuff like that. It still doesn't, like they had Bad Bunny and it still didn't do anything. And that's one of the biggest international artists in the world. It still didn't draw nothing outside of wrestling fans. So it's nothing that they can do to draw casuals because casuals do not care. They do not care about none of these newer generation wrestlers. If it's not nobody with nostalgia from their childhood, they do not care. They do not care at all. Oh, where's The Rock at? Oh, where's Stone Cold at? Oh, where's Triple H at? Oh, where this person at? Hey, oh, Undertaker, where they at? Where's Jeff Hardy? That's all they care about. They don't care about no Roman Reigns and none of that. And the only time people know of him is because we got kids. That's why I said, like, it only matters to people with kids, or if you're trying to fulfill an inner childhood that you just won't let go. I'm about to. You don't know my new format on my show. You don't know my new format on my show, Shan. You ain't been here in a while. We're going to get to it. I haven't even get to the intro yet. But I'm just saying, like, that was the dumbest suggestion. And then, like I said, I'm just like, bro, they finally moving to Netflix because they tired of getting their ass whooped by NFL. AEW don't really stand a chance because basketball constantly whoop their ass. And then, like I said, the time where wrestling is hot is during the summer, but Caitlin Clark about to whoop their ass. Like, the rise of the WNBA is another threat to pro wrestling because a Caitlin Clark game, she beats a Raw viewership. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Americans love real sports. The Olympics this year, it draws 77% more casual viewers than it did for the Tokyo one. Okay? It drew like 77% and a total of 28.5 million altogether. And then the NBA, not NBA, I'm sorry. France versus USA was 19.5. I'm not gonna say what the women's was because yeah. But they did good though. But The women's one was proving Stephen A. Smith point. I'm sorry. Like, it proves Stephen A. I hate to agree with him, but yeah, because they was wearing the girl jersey overseas, even though she wasn't even picked. See what I'm saying? And then on top of them, they asked them to not give them media coverage because they want to focus on winning, just to complain about not getting media coverage. And NBC is just like, but y'all told us not to. Y'all told us not to. So, you know, WNBA can be their own worst enemy. I don't know why. Like, it's like they want to be great, but they shoot at each other's foot. It's just like they ask you, hey, since Aja Wilson is the best female player in the world, in my opinion, can we give her the media coverage? Just for them to be like, well, no, we just focusing on winning. Why are y'all messing it up? Like, women's basketball is on a rise. Like, why would y'all mess that up? Like, why are y'all coming in between that? Like, people are starting to watch women's basketball. So why would y'all do that? I don't know. But anywho, it's a bad idea. Even though, like, as successful as the Olympics were, they did really good for Peacock. As you can see, Peacock loved it. They got more subscriptions because of the Olympic Games. I know people are going to end up, like, you know, unsubscribing now because they ain't got no reason to watch it. But they got more subscribers because of the Olympics. The viewership was there, and some people are going to come back because of the NFL deal. And yeah, so you're not beating real sports. It was a time that pro wrestling was beating real sports, but they're not in that time anymore. Okay, it's the 90s is over, as Anthony Edwards said. It's over. The 90s is over. So trying to add pro wrestling into that against track, swimming, gymnastics, basketball, flag football is about to be added on there, and America loves football because, like I posted on Facebook, even as successful as the Olympics did, it still did not beat NFL Super Bowl viewership overall, and that is crazy. And that was probably like the least wanted Super Bowl, 49ers versus the Chiefs. It still didn't beat that. Like, NFL is way, like, I don't think nobody's going to touch NFL when it comes to that viewership. NFL is money. It's to the point where they draft is money, okay? Like, the draft do more than any basketball, any NBA finals. So that's that. All right, so I'm about to get into the show. The topic for today, we're about to talk about the Black Americans in the Olympics, the correlation to 2024. It is very important for y'all to understand why we are American Requiem, like Beyonce said. But y'all have to understand why everything was purposely done for 2024, why 2024 Olympics was different, especially for Black Americans. So let's get this show started.
Monday night, you know what that means. Yeah. You know what that means. Realest on the grap scene, queen of the enemies, all elite with Keeks. Straight out of Dallas with it, dynamite fuse, she lit it. Standing on women business, going all out. Let's get it, keep it respectful though. Don't want that brawl out, we just talking fallout, storylines and call outs. Say what's the word, Keeks? I know y'all heard Keeks on air with the facts, not the rumors from dirt sheets. If you's a real collider, then let's ride with her. A real live winner, we going live with her. Yeah. All elite with Keeks, yeah. All elite with Keeks. All elite with Keeks, yeah. All elite with Keeks.
Dang, do that mean I gotta take Pence out my intro now? Dang. Dang. Okay, So yeah, Olympics ended. Thank you. I know. Okay, so the Olympics ended on Sunday, and this year, 2024 Olympics was probably the most entertaining and also significant to Black Americans, especially Black athletes. It was a lot of us this year, especially a lot of Black women. Um, this year in 2024, and there was a lot of history. Well, not a lot of history. Well, yes, it was. It was a few history made. You had LeBron James and Coco Jones holding the flag, being the flag bearers and representing America when we was on the ship to Paris. That was very dope. But it took a lot for us to get to that point, for Black Americans to get to that point. Like from 1908 to 1996, I feel like it was different time stamps that led to this point, which I'm going to get ready to talk about. Now, if you're expecting like a like a brief, like a whole bunch of history lesson, I'm not going to give it to you because I'm going to have a timely episode, but you're going to see what I'm talking about as, further on into the episode, getting to my point. So it's very, very important. And this was a time, like, we all jokingly on Black Twitter and also on TikTok how, now the Olympics over, we don't have to be patriotic anymore and things like that. But we're very patriotic when it comes to the Olympic time because, we see a lot of Black athletes. It's a lot of representation. And we be rooting for our folks. We root for our people. And we are Black Americans. We stay here. We live here. We are America. That's the whole point, in my opinion, of this year's 2024 Olympics. Like from when Beyonce introduced the United States to LeBron James and Coco Jones, which I'll get into further down the episode. But if you don't know, in 1908. 1908 Olympics, that's where we had the first Black athlete to represent America. And he was John Baxter Taylor Jr., and he ran track, and he was the anchor of the track team. His story, I was trying to do a lot of research due to a lot of it has not, it disappeared over time. He doesn't really get the recognition that he should because of the lost history facts of him. Because he died so soon. He died like 4 months after he received his, he did represented America. I believe it said that he had a heart failure. He had bad health, but he was the first Black athlete to represent us. And even though they didn't really necessarily had the TV, they had it like the telegram at the time. So, the Black Americans at that time, they knew of him. They was happy about it. Even though, he had to go through the bag, he couldn't travel with the team and all those different obstacles he had to personally face to get to that point. They didn't want to, they didn't give him the flag. They didn't let him hold the flag or none of that stuff. So he represented America, but, he wasn't allowed because he was Black, he wasn't allowed to hold the flag, none of that stuff at that time. But what I'm getting at is if it wasn't for, him being brave enough to want to participate because he knew it was bigger. It was way bigger. The vision that he had at a young age. And he said in an interview that it's bigger than what I'm going through now. Like, it's way bigger. This is something that somebody will know coming up. And he was right, because that person after him was in 1924 Olympics, which was Mr. William D. Hart Hubbard. And that was the first Black athlete to win gold. Now, Solo William D. Hart Hubbard, he won gold on an injured foot. and his foot got injured because of racism. He did the long jump, and you know when you do the long jump, you run and you do the hit the sand. Now in this certain scenario, they purposely put a concrete, so when he landed, his foot hit the concrete and not the sand part, and he thought it was sand, and it broke his foot. So he's limping, and it turned out that it was a technical scratch. Okay, so he turned around, and they wanted him to quit because they didn't want this black guy to win this gold. They wanted him to quit. He broke his foot. What he did was he limped back and he tried it again, and he won gold with a broken foot. See what I'm saying? Like, that didn't stop him because it was bigger. The vision was bigger. You might not have understand it, but the vision was so bigger because it influenced more to join, which was the 1936 Olympics, which everybody knows in the history books with Jesse Owens. But it was 18 black athletes at this time. It wasn't just one this time, it was 18. And then that was the year where we had our two first black women representing the Olympics as well, which was Miss Toddy Pickett. Where are my pictures? Oh, there you go. Toddy Pickett and Louis Stokes. Those was our first two black female athletes that was in the Olympics. And they was on the track team. Okay. They didn't win a medal or anything, but it's just a representation that black women, because white women were already in the Olympics, but we didn't have black women representing. Black women were athletes too, but this was our first two out of the 18 athletes. This was during the time Jesse Owens was in the, this was in Berlin. This is everybody knows the Berlin Olympics. And the reason why I'm not really so much talking about Jesse Owens, because we know that story, but nobody talks about the two black women that the first black women in the Olympics. So that was the first representation for black girls, and also that was the first time in history it was 18 total black athletes representing America. And the reason why it was never documented that it was 18, because it was still under the Jim Crow. They didn't want, at the time, they didn't want America to know that we had so much, Negro folks over there. So Jesse Owens, even though he got ridiculed for it from some of the teammates, sometimes, when things happen, because black people, we still do it now. Sometimes you don't see the vision. And Jesse Owens, he had to deal with criticism from, the 18 athletes, because it was certain scenarios that they was benching. Some of them was there to be placeholders for the white athletes. So basically they did the pre-trials, but you're not running, all y'all black folks is not running this race. We're picking, y'all getting us there, but y'all sitting down. That's basically what happened. And Jesse Owens was the only one that was able to represent America at that time. Even at that time when they was they didn't want Jews to run. They still didn't want black people to replace them either. So it was a lot going on, and it happened to the first two black women too. They was there. They didn't place because they was placeholders for the white athletes, for the white women athletes. They won the pre-trials, but they couldn't do like the finals. Okay, but they are our first two black women, which, Jesse Owens did an interview after he won, and that's when he did the famous, I came back to America, I still gotta come back from the back to receive my honor, and things are still segregated, things are still, like, he was very on a political standpoint when he came back. Like, I'm American champion, but I'm still treated like crap back in America. Like, y'all are throwing a parade and stuff for me, but you still treat me like I'm not an American, or during the Jim Crow era. And that, the interviews and the things that Jesse Owens stood for inspired two more people. And this Olympics is very famous because it's still one of the firest pictures in Olympic history, which is 1968 Olympics, was John Carlos and Tommy Smith when they took the political stance on the podium. That's still probably one of the most firest pictures in history, in my opinion. And they took that stance because if you don't know that 1968 was very, very significant in a shift in American history. That was around the time that Martin Luther King was assassinated. That was around the time where the burning down the cities and different things like that. It was just very, very chaotic, and they stood for Black justice. They stood tall that Black folks are still getting unequal treatment. So, we know the history that they took their gold medal and the silver medal. I'm sorry, not silver, bronze. They took the gold and bronze from them. They erased them from the Olympic record book from that, for doing that. He had the Black Power, the Black Panther fist. This is always significant. I love this. Like, you had Tommy Smith. He had his jacket unzipped, which was caused they violated him from not being in dress code. They had on the green and the red and the black beads, all of that. Like, it's beautiful, but they did that because I remember John Carlos, and I was taught this in school. He stated when he, used to read about Jesse Owens and his stance on political stance, and also Muhammad Ali, we know, of course, is known for taking political stance as an athlete. Even though, you don't have to say much, but you show it. And this is a powerful image and to display in front of like the world. And they got booed for it. They was booed. They was booed, harassed. Their families was harassed. Nobody don't never talk about after this picture was taken. They never talk about after, because they was harassed. They harassed their family. They couldn't get no job. Like, NAACP had to step in. Like, they was getting blackballed everywhere. Nobody wouldn't hire them. Nothing. Like, completely blackballed. Sometimes sacrifices are meant to be made, because without, like, Black kids seeing this at that time, it meant something. Not even just kids, just the Black communities. It meant something. Like, nobody's going to say nothing. I don't have to say much. Like, they doing the national anthem and they got their Black fist up. And then seeing something like that inspired a young lady who inspired, like, she's the mother of all the current girls. And that's the 1984 Olympics, Miss FloJo, representing the Black urban girls. Because when she stepped on the scene, she was getting criticized for her attire. It's trend-setting now, but it wasn't a trend-setting then. I'm waiting on my picture, man. There you go. It was a trend-setting now, but it wasn't back then, because they gave FloJo a hard time. When she came out with these looks and the nails and stuff like that, they gave her a hard time for it. It's praised now, but she represented all the girls from the hood, all the Black girls from the urban communities. She represented all of us, because when it comes to Black athletes, especially during the 70s, like, they had to look a certain way. Black women had to look and carry themselves a certain way to be taken seriously, or to be, resilient. But FloJo came in Like this is who I am. This is me. That's the Cali girl. Like she came in like this. I'm gonna add something to it, and she inspires the Shakaris and on down the line. Like we see it now. Like her impact, we see it. We see it now, which we'll talk about in 2024. But you see what I'm saying? Like the past, it delicates the future, especially with Black Americans. Just like 1992 Olympics, the Dream Team. You know, that was the first year that professional players represented America. We know like the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, all them old people. This is the famous where what's the name was just like, I met the requirements. I just didn't get picked. What he say? I met the requirements. Just didn't get picked. Don't we got the video? Do we got that video? I think we do. He probably about to know. We don't got that. I don't have it out. So the Dream Team, you know what I'm saying? Like the famous Black basketball players, especially Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, you know what I'm saying? And Larry Bird, but he ain't Black. So we speaking on the Black people right now. Okay. But Larry Bird. But they inspire what we see further. And I ain't gonna talk about that dude right there, because that man is a certified little boy, certified pedophile, and I ain't talking about him. So you can mark him off because I'm not talking about that man. But but yeah. Which also another one from 1990, the 1992 Olympics, Mr. Michael Johnson, the golden shoes. He wore them gold. What he say? His famous was, "I'm not wearing golden shoes without the gold to match my shoes." He's 96. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm ahead. I'm sorry. That's Olympic 1996, y'all. I'm sorry. I said 92. But yeah, the golden shoes. The same year where we get our first Black female gymnast, which was Dominique Dawes. I say her name wrong all the time. Her last name, Miss Dominique. That's what I'm saying. The first gold Black gymnast. And she walked so others could fly, so others could soar. But it wasn't an easy task for her because she was discriminated against because they said that, you know, they tried to make fun of her weight. They tried to make fun of her hair texture, her posture. At one point, they tried to say that she was fat, and she wasn't because she's hippie. Black girls, Black women are curved different. And they didn't find her beautiful. And it had a lot to do because she was Black. She didn't fit the beauty standards to be a gymnast and won gold. Miss Dominique. So, like, I picked these years because 1908, 1924, 1936, 1968, 1984, 1992, and 1996 are the most significant years in Olympic history for Black Americans for a reason. It was a lot of firsts and barriers broken. And those years, all of them helped cultivate what we saw currently in 2024. That's why it makes this year so different, because if it wasn't for these barriers being broken, we wouldn't see what we saw in 2024. If it wasn't for, again, John Baxter Taylor Jr. even just having the courage, as young as he was and as scared as he was, because around that time, Jim Crow was on a whole different level. Okay? And he still chose to represent America because he knew him going to represent other Black kids along the way. And we saw that parallel effect, domino effect, domino effect, domino effect. So 2024, yes, and that picture right there, y'all, that's the first Black gold. That's the one that broke his foot. That's the one that they tried to harm while he was doing his thing. They placed the concrete on there and covered it up with sand, and he hit his foot really bad. That when I was reading up on him, it said you could hear it, and he still chose to do the long jump and won. That's William D. Hart Hubbard. He won, the man that won on 1 foot. Okay, so again, 2024 again was one of the most entertaining and significant Olympics, especially for Black Americans. It was so much representation for us and for kids to see. Like, it popped off with Beyonce introducing USA. And like I said on TikTok, people do not understand Cowboy Carter is everything that Beyonce does is intentional and is calculated. And I'm not saying calculated in a bad way, but Cowboy Carter is actually a political statement. That's probably one of her, quote unquote, wokest albums she's done. If you listen to what she's saying on this album, I know people been upset because she was like, she doing all of this all this flag stuff. She introduced the team with the song Yaya in the back. And I already know they probably picked Yaya because they thought it was a uplifting song, and it's an up-tempo song. It's like an old Chuck Berry type of music. But they don't know the words. Let me tell y'all something. She opened up this song. I'm going to read it to you. My family lived and died in America. Good old USA. A whole lot of red in that white and blue. History can't be erased. Like, come on. And then on top of that, you had LeBron and Coco. Being the flag bearers. Why this song is playing? Are you looking for a new America? Are you tired of working time and have time to pay? That's Beyonce. Like, I say it all the time. If you listen to American Requiem, the message is so clear in that song what Cowboy Carter is about. The message is so, so clear. And I say it all the time. And we're starting to kind of waking up to it, because that album is telling us we are not guests in this country. We need to stop having that mentality that we are guests in this country. We are America. We cultivate America. Our ancestors built this country. They can't keep treating us like guests, and we got to get out of that mentality. You see what I'm saying? And then you have a Black man holding being a flag bearer. I know Coco was a part of it, but being that LeBron was taller, a Black man was holding that flag, leading the way while Yaya is playing. Like, that picture is fire. In the rain. George Washington could never. He could never. That was beautiful. And then on top of that, hip hop made it so far that you had Snoop Dogg is like the official host of the Olympics. This man was once hated. This man music was banned in households. And now those people, like, he's loved. He's probably one of the most famous rappers there is. Hip hop is a Black American genre. Shout out to the Bronx. Like, that's y'all see what I'm getting at? Like, the significance of Black America, Black Americans in this 2024 Olympics. There is no America without us. Like, Simone Biles made history being the most decorated Olympian of all time. And that wouldn't have been possible without 1992 Olympics. I'm sorry, not 1992. 1996. My bad. That wouldn't have been possible without Dominique. It wouldn't have been possible if Gabby Douglas didn't see Dominique. And then Simone seeing Gabby Douglas. Because Gabby Douglas don't really get the credit that she deserves. But it took somebody to see Dominique to be like, I want to do that. And then it took somebody else to see, I see Gabby. I want to do it. And then Simone Biles just took off. And now we got Simone. And then Jordan Childs is still my bronze medal champion. I don't care what they say. She won that bronze. Okay. And they inspire so many other Black girls to want to do gymnastics or to find the resources so they can do gymnastics. People didn't want the Olympics in California, but Snoop, exactly. And then you had the women's track team. Phenomenal this year. Sha'Carri Richardson, Dallas native Oak Cliff in the building. The hardships, we know her story. And she won silver. That was some bullshit though, because they didn't let her warm up. They did her and Shelly Ann wrong. But she still won silver. And then she won her gold being the anchor during the 4x100 meters. And, you know, she did it with style. You see, she has the long nails and stuff like that, but that wouldn't be nothing if FloJo didn't exist. A girl from a area just like me, we from the same location, where she's from literally like 4 blocks from where I'm from and where I stay. Because FloJo inspires so many girls from urban communities to run track. Sha'Carri Richardson, she's openly spoke like she's a fan of Shelly Ann, of course. And also FloJo is always mentioned from her mouth. And then you have the queen, Miss Sydney.
She's your queen to be, a queen to be forever, a queen who'll do whatever His Highness desires.
And she's so pretty. The queen, once she won the 400 meter hurdle and the most decorated long distance runner of all time. She broke her own record this year, and she be taking off. When she take off, she gone. She is gone. Very beautiful too. And like more representation for more Black girls. Winning the gold. You had Gabby Thomas. She won a 200 meter. She won 3 gold this year. She won a 200 meter, the 4x1, and the 4x4. She a 3-time gold winner this year. Like, Black women was womening. That's not a word, but I made it up. Black women was womening. And then, and then the men, they did their thing. I don't want to talk about the 4x100 relay because that was crazy. That was, I don't know what happened. People was taking off early. People weren't grabbing the batons. That was tragedy. That was very tragic to see. They pissed off Carl Lewis. And then I don't want to talk about that boy, but he won his little gold or whatever. It's cute. Quincy Hall, you know, he didn't give up in the 400 meter. You got that same energy. Just like in 1924, didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was coming in from 4th. No, fifth. He was in fifth and caught up and won the gold. That not give up spirit. Because we don't give up. At the turn, yes, that was crazy. He did not give up at all. Like, he kept the stride and just found, like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. And he got there. And then you had the men, they're undefeated in the 4x400. And the pre-trials, you had the youngest, he's 16, and he got injured. I think they said either he pulled something. He pulled or aggravated something, and he wasn't able to run the final, but he did still get a gold. But they made an Olympic record. And you know that is what the men from the 1936 Olympics wanted to do. Instead of being placeholder for those white men, that's what they did at the pre-trials. But they weren't able to do the finals because they were black. And now we have black men, black American men, still holds the record for the 4x400. And then also, USA women's soccer, you had Mallory Swanson doing the game winner. You know what I'm saying? And we won the gold in soccer because of her. Shout out to black women, you know what I'm saying? And then you had the USA women's basketball. They made their history, 8th consecutive gold at the Olympics. Aja Wilson is the Olympic MVP. And the USA men's Avengers, the basketball team winning gold. And, you know, the USA men's 2024, the Avengers. Oh, yeah, Dennis Rodman's daughter is on the soccer team. Dennis Rodman, again, basketball. You know what I'm saying? The Dream Team was being the first to use professional basketball players in the Olympics. That wouldn't have been, if that didn't happen, we wouldn't have had the USA men's Avengers. So, like I said, the past, it correlates to the future. And it's significant and it means something. So that's why it was just so beautiful to see in real time. Like, USA altogether, most of the gold was the women. And this is not just black women, it was just women in general. Had the most gold this year in the Olympics history, in American Olympic history. Women's sports is elevating to a whole different level. And wrestling is still behind when it comes to showcasing women. They're still far behind. And that's how they're you know, little girls are able to see women dominate in swimming, women dominate in gymnastics, basketball, tennis. Because Coco was in tennis, even though she didn't place because, again, they was on some BS out there with her. Just what's the sword? The sword one, because it was a black woman in that one. The sword. That. We were just everywhere. It was black men too. Sure, it was one that did the skateboard. Like, we're doing everything. Like, we're not limited. It was a black man in gymnastics. We're not limiting ourselves in just football and basketball. Even though I do love basketball. But I'm just saying, like, black people, black Americans are not limiting themselves to just track, basketball, football anymore. We can do other things. And I'm glad that black kids can see that you can see it's a black man that's representing skateboarding. You can see a black woman that's doing swimming. You can see a black woman that's doing tennis. You can see a black person doing the sword. I don't know what it's called, but I know they got the sword. Leave me alone. You can we had a black representation in was it ping pong? It was just different things that you see Black athletes in or participating in. Water polo. Like, we're in water polo, y'all. Niggas was in Paris. For real. Like, for real. We was in Paris, for real. Black athletes had them golds on, the grills, the chains, the nails. Like, that's Black American all day. Black American all day. And I always think about, it's on that Jay-Z song, but it's Pimp C doing that interview. When he said, I wrote it, I copied and pasted it. And that's on the Fuck You Me, You Know I Got It song with him and Rick Ross. And when he said where I'm gonna start at, when he said everything that's out here for kings like us, the reason why we like this jewelry and this diamonds and stuff, they understand because we really from Africa, and that's where all the stuff come from, and we originated from kings. So don't talk down on the youngsters because they want to have shiny things. It's in our genes. That's a bar. It's in our genes. So it was just amazing to see Black Americans able to be Black Americans. Like, every time when Black Americans are able to be themselves, it always causes some type of discourse. But this is like the first time we was able to be ourselves and not hear shit about it. Like, Simone Biles was doing that Glorilla challenge dance in peace. Nobody said nothing. Jordan Childs was able to wear her golds. Quincy Hall won the 400 wearing he was slugged up. USA men's basketball team, we get very competitive and we talk shit on the court. The only people that was mad about that, my connection is choppy. Can you hear me now? He said my connection choppy. Is it good now? Am I okay now? Am I okay now? I'm waiting on if y'all can hear me. Okay. People are saying they can hear me. I don't know. Is it sure it's mine or it's yours? Because they saying they can hear me. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. We had a little technical difficulties, but I'm about to get off anyway. But yeah, that's just based of this show. I just wanted to highlight the Black Americans. just history as to, how we got here and why 2024 is significant to the youngins, especially future Black American athletes, because it comes back and it's going to be in the States in the 2028. We'll probably see some different faces, different inspiration, and seeing things like this inspires more Black kids to want to represent America. And the point is, we are here. We've been here for almost 300 years at this point. Everything that Black American do, it is America. It wouldn't be America without us. We brought style. We brought fashion. We brought swagger. Like Black Americans is one of the most, especially Black women, we are the most copied. And it was a big diaspora war. It's always a diaspora war. Like, if we didn't see nothing else this year, we saw that, because it was crazy to see people from the Caribbeans and also in African continent root against us, but cheer for they like oppressors. It was weird to see people, especially with the USA men's basketball. They was wanting Serbia to beat us. Meanwhile, we were rooting for them. So it just shows how alone we really are. Like, nobody truly fucks with Black Americans at all. So if we didn't see nothing else, we saw that we are our own culture. It's probably true that we don't know where we came from, but we know the now. We are Black Americans. We ain't going nowhere. We are here to stay, and we are America. And it's not America without us. God damn it. And y'all can try to get y'all best players, but it don't mean nothing, because I'm not seeing this in anything. You're not. Food, none of that. So I just wanted to do that today, even though it's over. Well, it's not truly over, the Paralympics. It does start on the 28th. The disabled community, they have some athletes, and they be going hard. They be doing their thing. And then the Winter Olympics is next year. I gotta Google to see some Black people that's in the Winter Olympics. I know we got a few of them that be out in them snows and doing stuff. I know it's a few of them out there. I'm gonna try to see what's going on. But as far as like the Summer Olympics, I know of the Summer Olympics, and I know that is in 2028, which they passed that flag down to Tom Cruise, dangerous self. Tom Cruise jumped down from the stadium. I had Ted Davis because somebody had said in the comments, and I bet that felt like stepping over the curve for him. And I'm pretty certain he asked them, could he jump off a plane? And they was like, no. No, Tom Cruise, you're not jumping off the plane. Just do that. We don't even want you doing that, but we're going to let it slide. Okay? But yeah, so we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the sacrifices the past have made and the statements that they have made, and the representation, and standing for something so the future generation can see. Because like I said, 1908 inspired 1924, inspired 1936, inspired 1968, which inspired 1984, inspired 1992, and inspired 1996. And all of these inspired 2024. Like, it literally cultivates 2024. Because like I said, we had Black men to represent the 4x400 in 1936. They wasn't allowed to run. Just for 2024, the Black American men still hold the consecutive title for the 4x400 meter relay. Just like if Dominique didn't do the 1996 Olympics, it wouldn't have inspired Gabby, which wouldn't inspire Simone Biles. And now we have a Black woman being one of the most decorated Olympian of all time. And that wouldn't have happened if Dominique did not break that barrier. Just like if Flojo didn't participate in 1984 Olympic, it wouldn't have inspired Black girls that is crack babies or babies that is they ghetto and this and this and this. It wouldn't inspire those girls to run track. And now we have Sha'Carri Richardson. So all of that, you know, John Carlos, what he put that up there? John Carlos and Tommy Smith political stance in 1968, where we just want, you know, equality. We want equal treatment. 1968. And now you have a Black man in 2024, LeBron James, being a flag bearer. So always, always, always honor your past, especially honor the past. When Black Americans are patriotic, it's more because it's people representing us. It doesn't really have so much to do with loving America, but we are America. Yes, let's show that step big. We are America, okay? So, we was introduced by a Black American woman from Houston, Texas, with a political statement song. And they just thought it was just an uptune song. No, that song meant something. Like, look at that, y'all. Look what Steph Curry, that was a good game. Like, that was crazy. That was crazy. Insane. All he needed to learn was the Olympics 3-point is not the same as the NBA 3-point, and it was over. That was beautiful. That's a beautiful shot. But yeah, that point of view is beautiful too. Look at that. Is that Jimmy Fallon? There's so many people in there. I know that's Keon. I know that's Mello. That's Carl Lewis. Marbury. Oh. This picture is crazy. Bro, Americans really be traveling and to represent for USA. Like, I give it to the white people. Shout out to the white Americans that got that bread to travel and just feel like putting their PTO in just to be out there to make sure that we have fans. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. I would say that. Shout out to white people traveling. Like, shout out to the white folks because they be out there. We don't be alone overseas. Like, they be out there. Where America going to, we going. Shout out to y'all. But yes, so that is it for tonight. Now I'll get back on track with wrestling next week on AEW. All In is 2 weeks away. It is All In season. So we'll get into it. I did go to Collision Saturday. It was a lot of fun. I did enjoy myself. I was in mommy's mode because the dude next to me, he brought his son, and his son was kind of acting out, and he was getting a little frustrated. And I had to tell little boy, sit down. Your daddy told you to sit down. You need to sit down. And don't be kicking that person's chair no more. And he didn't do it since. You ain't gonna be doing all of that sitting next to me. That's why I don't bring my kids to no wrestling show. Sit down. And he sat down. So, yeah. So, be back next week. It will be AEW, of course. And be sure to follow me, All Elite with Keeks. Make sure you hit the notification button. Subscribe to the channel. And again, shout out to the Black athletes all over. Football season is upon us. I don't want to talk about the Cowboys right now because Jerry Jones is pissing me off, and I don't want to talk about it. So, again, see y'all next Monday. I will be here and hit my getaway music.
First of all, there's no such thing as white-collar crime. And there's definitely no such thing as black-on-black crime. Crime is crime. Let me explain something to you. I don't care if you have a white collar or a tank top. If you rob me, I'm gonna whoop your ass.